Sushant, this is by far the best of you I've seen. And then he hugged me and he said, thank you for telling me. There was no gatekeeper to his emotions. If he would like someone, he would just let the person in. And the last conversation I had with him was a little fight. Instead of being divided between insiders and outsiders, should be divided between talented and hardworking people and not so talented, non-hardworking people. There are people out there who are saying not included. I've gone through a hell of a lot of those things myself. I give 400 auditions. I get cast 4 times. Right from Karan Johar to Varun, Alia, they've been very welcoming. They've been very sweet to me. तुम्हारे हुनर तुम्हारे मरने के बाद खत्म हो जाएंगे और मेरे हुनर मेरे मरने के बाद हमेशा जिंदा रहेंगे.
Hello everyone and welcome to Midday.com. Today I'm in conversation with actor Sahil Vaid. You may have seen him in Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhania and Badrinath Ki Dulhania, and now most recently in Dil Bechara. Hi Sahil, how are you doing?
Hi, Supriya.
How's the lockdown been treating you?
Good actually. I thought I'm going to go crazy, but I found things to do. Then I started new things to do. I never thought I'd get so much time for myself. So yeah, it's been productive.
I have to congratulate you for Dil Bechara. It's a special movie for so many reasons. What are the thoughts that are going on in your mind right now? How are you feeling with the response to the film?
I've had films come out before. I was very excited when Humpty was coming out. I was very excited when Badri was coming out. Something is amiss. We all know what is amiss, but that excitement somehow, maybe I've grown up, maybe I've kind of matured out in the process of making this film, or it's just the circumstances, which makes me feel that the excitement is not in the face. It's there. It's somewhere deep inside. I do feel very happy, very excited that the film is getting the kind of response it's getting. But at the back of my mind, I also know why this love is coming in. It's all for Sushant. It's because of Sushant. I'm someone who believes in celebrating on merit. But unfortunately, we'll never find out what response this film would have got otherwise. One thing that doesn't change is that it is a beautiful film. It's been a beautiful journey and a beautiful experience for me working on it. So that is something that can't be taken away from me because I know how it was. And now the audience has seen the magic of a film when it finds enough audience. If it was a very bad film, I'm sure the audience would not have sat through it. It's a good film, but that excitement is half baked. I wish it was in different circumstances, but this is what it is, and we take what we get.
Since this was Sushant's last film, a lot of his fans have been eagerly wanting to know, more about him from the people he has worked with. What are some of the most memorable moments that you shared with him?
If I tell you one memory, then the other memory would feel left out. It was like that. Every moment now that I think back, every moment spent with him, because when you spend more time with someone, old memories get deleted, new memories take their place. Now that you know that there are not going to be new memories, the time that I spent there in Jamshedpur shooting with him, I'll cherish them. I'll remember them because I do not claim that I was Sushant's best friend. No. In fact, we started off on a very love-hate footing. We found each other. We discovered each other through the process of those initial days of shoot. In fact, by the time the first day finished, we were already buddies. We were already looking like childhood friends because there was this behind-the-scenes video that was circulating where Sushant was on the motorcycle. He was swinging. and Sanjana was enjoying the view. The shot was getting set. What people don't know now, people who've watched the movie know that I was the one swinging him. I was holding him from behind. I was swinging him because my brief for that scene was I'm sleeping. After we run away from that church, having said that we're not wearing any underwear, we run away from the church, and on the way, I've kind of fallen asleep. That was my brief. I didn't even realize how soon we got comfortable with each other. I was hugging him. I was sleeping on his back, and I was swinging. I think that happens because someone allows you, someone lets you in, and that is what was the most beautiful aspect of Sushant Singh Rajput, because he would let people in. There was no gatekeeper to his emotions. He would just, if he would like someone, he would just let the person in. He wouldn't think that this person might hurt me someday, or this person has a tendency to do something bad to me. He wouldn't think that. He was that person. So he let me in, and because of the fact that he let me in, you see a lot of magic on screen between me and him specifically, because it's not possible unless one actor lets another actor in.
True. The camaraderie shows,
I
on camera.
camaraderie shows, and that is something that you cannot fake. I mean, I've known Sushant for 2 years, all of 2 years. Before that, I hadn't even met him. I met him at the first reading, and he found out that I'm from Tamil Nadu, and he was like, "Wait, I'm playing a Tamil boy in this film. You're going to help me." I was like, "Okay." I said, "Where are you from?" He says, "I'm from Patna." That's how he spoke. I'm from Patna. I was like, "I'm playing a Patna boy in the film. You are going to help me." So we were actually cross cast, and we were helping each other. Saying those. I remember that one day when he had to say Talaiva for the first time, and let me show you something very interesting. I am actually Manny in real life.
Ah,
I'm actually
okay.
Manny in real life. So I've
Rajini
grown up
fan.
in Tamil Nadu, and yeah, I've been a fan of this guy. And that day of me telling him how to say Talaiba, that day I realized how passionate he was about getting it right. फिर से बोल, how do you say it? How do you say it? And he would keep asking me again and again and again. And then in return, I would be like, "Ki, ab tumhari bari, now you say my dialogue. I want to see how a Patna boy would say it." That went on till the last day of the shoot. From the day on that motorcycle to one of those, the egg throwing scene was the last thing we shot. Before that, we had shot that screening scene. So Shant wasn't there. It kept going on, and when something like that starts happening, that give and take begins. A relationship starts developing. A bond starts building, like he would like to call it. He used to call it, "We should have a covalent bond in this film." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, we'll have a covalent bond in this film."
Quite the scientific guy he was.
Luckily, I am a man of science myself, so I kind of understood most of what he was trying to say. We had some conversations. We had some deep, deep conversations.
So the last time you met him was during that last shot that you all did of the egg throwing scene, or did you guys meet
Yes,
after that as well?
we wanted to go for a ride. We were planning to go for a ride. He made me buy a motorcycle. Yeah, I always dreamt of buying a sports bike. I mean, which boy doesn't? We all have. When we were in school, we have stickers of Yamaha
True.
R1 or the BMW GS 1200. He kind of caught that, and he's like, "Listen, if you have a dream, just buy it. I'll go on a ride with you." The kind of socio-economic background I come from, I thought, a sports bike, mileage nahi degi, chalaunga kahan pe. For once, I think he kind of pushed me, and he said, "Just do it, man. You're thinking too much." And I did it. Well, that ride never happened. Then the promises, the same kind of promises were made with Siddharth Malhotra when I was shooting for Sher Shah. But the point is, that's who he was. he would push you, he would inspire you. When the job was done, he would move on to inspiring someone else. You can't feel bad and betrayed about that, because it's a tough job inspiring people. I want to inspire people as well. So I understand where he's coming from. That was the last day. And the last conversation I had with him was uh, a little fight, because I told him I had dubbed for Sonchiraya for him in the Hindi version. He told me that the actors were against the dubbing. I was like, I didn't know. They gave me a letter with your signature on it, which said that you give me permission to dub, and that's why I went ahead with it. He's like, yeah, yeah, because the production wanted to make Sonchiraya a pan India film. They had shot it in Bundeli, and honestly,
Right.
even I think it was beautifully done. I I told him, Sushant, I've dubbed for a lot of films in my life, and there is this one particular scene in Sonchiraya that I dubbed for, and bhai, I think that's one of your best performances ever, because there was this scene where one of his fellow dacoits, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
Natha ko goli lag jati hai,
Hmm.
and Natha's dead, and they're fleeing the scene, they're running away, and then he just stops in the middle of the night and he says, वापस जाना पड़ेगा, वापस जाना पड़ेगा, नत्था की मूंछ ऊपर करनी है. मैंने उसको वादा किया था कि उसकी अखबार में फोटो आएगी ना, मूंछ ऊपर होनी चाहिए. That scene when I was dubbing, it took all my years of dubbing training, and it took all my oomph to get it right. I had to do it again and again and again. And I told him, I said, Sushant, this is by far the best of you I've seen. And I remember he putting his hand on my shoulder and squeezing it tightly. And he said, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And then he hugged me and he said, thank you for telling me. First, he was surprised where I watched Sonchiraya, because Sonchiraya hadn't
Right.
released yet. And he was like,
Okay.
first he was like,
How do you
the way
say
he
it?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had this very peculiar way of going, तूने कहाँ देख ली? I said, भाई मैंने डब किया है. And then it was like, तो मुकेश यही है वो जिसने डब किया है मेरे लिए. And then I remember Mukesh sir also coming up and saying, हाँ तो अच्छा है ना, अच्छे आर्टिस्ट ने करा है, किसी और से करवा लेते तो रोता तू. I'm glad they had that respect for me. So yeah, that was the last conversation I had with him. And I'm glad that the last conversation I had with him was me praising him for something amazing that he had done. एक regret तो खैर मुझे नहीं होगा. I appreciated him. Actors generally,
True.
hold back. A lot of my actor friends tell me only when I meet them. When I work with them, they say, "Oh, that film, you were very good." They don't make phone calls and they don't send me messages saying, "Oh, we watched your film." I do that. After that day, I do that a lot. You can't regret anything. If you like somebody's work, just give them the love now. Give them the love as soon as you can, because maybe because of the love that you give, it makes their day, it makes their week, it makes their month, and they're in a better frame of mind. I've started believing that now. I mean, I'm an actor. I'm very insecure at times, and I don't claim to be the most sorted person in the world, but I'm getting there. If you compare our last conversation with this one, you would realize that there is a lot of calm, maturity that
Absolutely.
is crept into
True.
you. That's also happened because of the process of making Dil Bechara. Because gratitude is something that I've actually taken away from this film. I worked with blind people. I worked with cancer patients. I worked with cancer survivors. Lost my aunt to cancer, the aunt who really inspired me, General Meena Datta, who was alive when you and I last met. And we didn't even know that she had cancer. And she just left. That's when I realized that my problems are this much. My problems are my troubles. What are my problems? Huh? One of my bikes needs service. The lockdowns happened. Nobody's there to service it. I have to service it myself. I had a breakup. There's no groceries. Small problems, and we make them so big. We don't
Right.
appreciate what we have.
True.
I don't have any pain. I don't have any ailments. I have all my senses working properly.
Correct.
Can I respect the life I have? Can I love the life I have? Just because that other guy has a better car, my nights are sleepless. That is something that doesn't happen anymore. And I'm glad I'm one step closer to enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it.
No, but it's great that, working on a film like that gets you this newfound respect for life that you otherwise take for granted. So it's so wonderful that,
Yeah.
it happens. And so, Sahil, you worked with Varun and Alia in the past, who come from proper film families, and then you worked with outsiders like Sushant, Sanjana, and now even Siddharth Malhotra in Shersha. Could you tell any conspicuous difference between them with regards to, their personality, behavior on set, acting skills, things like that, commitment to the process, for example?
All the names that you've taken, Sushant Singh Rajput, Siddharth Malhotra, Varun Dhawan, Alia Bhatt, there is one thing common amongst all of them. They are all talented people. This industry, instead of being divided between insiders and outsiders, should be divided between talented and hardworking people and not so talented, non-hardworking people. That would be a fair division, because if you're not talented, you can work hard and become talented.
Right.
It's not a gift. It's not a gift. It's something that you can work. It's a craft that you can hone, develop, and find success. If you're not willing to do that, you don't deserve to be here. If today I stop working on myself, if today I feel, oh, great, now I've done the number one rated IMDb film in the world, I don't need to work on myself anymore. I'm going to be finished in a year or two. Nobody's going to want to work with me, because there are people banking on you. They're putting money on films, insane amounts of money, so that people can enjoy. Think about it. This is the period of the lockdown. Now we understand the importance of entertainment. At the time when the lockdown wasn't there, entertainment was okay, mil jaye to theek, nahi mile to.
Hmm.
When you have nothing to do, content is something that you're consuming so fast. We're all dependent on OTT platforms. We're all dependent on the internet. What if it's all taken away from you? So when something is so important, they're putting in so much money, they're putting in so much trust in you, they expect the best out of you.
Right.
And if you don't constantly rediscover yourself, if you don't polish yourself every now and then, I'm sorry, but people are just going to want to stop working with you. Think about this. If you're passionate about something, and if you're working hard towards your passion, you won't even feel that you're working hard. I never felt like I was struggling. I still don't feel like I ever struggled, because I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky that I'm in a profession of my choosing. I love where I am.
Right.
I would like to grow. Yes. I have vision for the future. Yes. But if I don't get there, that's completely on me. Nobody in this world can stop you unless you let them.
Having a background in theater and done short films before, and now Bollywood movies, how much has your professional training helped you?
Every day, be it my theater or my dubbing. I told you,
Right.
it all helps. It comes to
True.
your aid, especially at times when you don't even realize that you
Yeah.
need help. Because most of the times when we are preparing for a part, you dig deep into your subconscious and you kind of go hunt for those things that you have experienced back in the day, people you've met, people
Mhm.
you've spoken to, regions you've been to, and all that knowledge, storing that knowledge and utilizing that, the process of kind of digging in and bringing out a character, defining that character, designing that character, that comes from theater. Because in the theater, we take at least a year to prepare for a play before we go on stage. When we are doing that constantly, you already have a glossary of characters and a glossary. Acting kind of becomes second nature. One very good thing that comes from theater is, uh, those actors who say, "Oh, but मैं अपने character में खो गया था." Nasir sir says he never understands those actors because the job of an actor is to be aware all the time. He should know that there are cameras. He should know that there is a light there. He should know that this is a film. Now, you need to create that illusion of as much real performance as possible, because then your ability as an actor comes into play. Otherwise, if you feel and if you actually start feeling emotions, you're going to go crazy. Small example: if you cast me as a murderer, as a serial killer tomorrow, how do I prepare for that role? Should I go and start killing people to get into the role? That's stupid. No,
Absolutely.
you have to imagine. Your mind has to work more than anything else. You need to imagine what drives someone to kill someone. Weird example considering what's going on, but you understand. You get the
Yeah,
point.
absolutely.
That's
So Sahil, having worked with a banner like Dharma Films, right at the start of your career, you've said in an interview in the past that you owe your career to Karan Johar. But the narrative that's going on currently in Bollywood has, all sorts of things. But your personal experience has been quite different. So how do you feel about that? What is your stance now?
my stance still hasn't changed. That's what I'm telling you. First of all, people need to stop reacting on second-hand information.
True.
What's
Absolutely.
happening with you? You have all the right to raise your voice for that.
Absolutely.
If someone did something wrong with you, you better raise your voice. There are people out there who are saying they were not included. They I've gone through a hell of a lot of those things myself. I was not brave enough to kind of come forward and say that. But luckily, 90% of the people who I've met or worked with have been amazing people. They've always included me. They've always welcomed me. They've always given me love. How can I go ahead and by now I think everybody who's seen my films or my interviews knows that I call a spade, I have no reason to go ahead and bootlick, or I have no reason to go ahead and be this person who says something for the benefit of his career, because I don't have one career, I have four. I have backup careers to fall back on. I am the most secure person right now as far as career is concerned. So, having said that, I will say the day someone does something like that to me, I will raise my voice and I make you that promise. If that happens to me, I'll make you a phone call. I'll call you and I'll say, listen, today I feel like I have, I feel like an outsider. But abhi tak, till now, there has not been one person, right from Karan Johar to you name it, Varun, Alia, they've been very welcoming. They've been very sweet to me. And we've worked together like friends. Sushant and Varun, for me, were equally dear. When you work with someone, you play their best friend, there is this attachment that you develop. That attachment is unbeatable. I haven't sat with Karan Johar and had chai with him. It's okay, because if he was directing the film I was acting in, then I would spend time with him, because then I would require to spend time with him.
Right.
If I unnecessarily expect, oh, but I've done three Dharma films now, why am I not sitting with Karan Johar? I'll be stupid.
Right.
If my director doesn't give me time while directing me, then that's a problem. Think about this. You need to know what you need rather than what you want. It's very easy for me to say, oh, you know what, maybe that's why I'm getting only heroes' friends parts. Maybe that's also the reason why I've not become a hero, not a lead actor yet. But I understand the business. There is something called sellability. Slowly but steadily, I'm making my place in the hearts of the audience. And one day, when the audience really dearly loves me, producers and directors will find that trust and belief in me, and they'll cast me in bigger parts, and maybe even let me shoulder a whole film. But until then, I need to keep working on myself, because if that first film as me as a lead actor fails just because I've done bad acting in it, then nobody's going to give me another opportunity.
Right. You've spoken about how you had auditioned for films like Chichore and 83, but you've not got the parts. And for
Hmm.
someone who's starting out in Bollywood, what advice would you give newcomers coming to the industry?
When I go out for an audition, when I go out for a test, I take it as a performance. I don't take it as a test. Trust me, I still go out for auditions. I've done some big films. I've done some big roles, but I still go out there. I still do an audition. I do a performance and I come home expecting nothing. That's the best advice I can give you, because just because you don't crack an audition does not mean that you're a bad actor or you don't look good. The reason they don't cast you can vary from how you look to how they want you to look, or what kind of character they've written. If they see it and if they want you, believe me, you will not, even if you try your hardest, you won't be able to not do that film. If you're a fat guy with a scar on your face and they're looking for a fat guy with a scar on his face, they will kidnap you and
Mhm.
cast you. You won't be able to say no. So trust me when I say this. My advice is, I give 400 auditions, I get cast 4 times. 396 times I fail. If I give you a list of films that I've not done or not been selected for, you'll be like, wow, patience. You require patience. You need to have patience. You do that one role and you do it with so much heart, with so much, uh, you put everything in it, so that whoever watches that film says, oh, wow, he knows his job.
Right.
Then very soon their opinion changes from he knows his job to, oh, he's a really good actor. And one day they start saying, Sahil, arey, Sahil to star hai. It doesn't take much time to kind of
Right.
go from, oh, isko kam aata hai, to, oh, Sahil to, he's a formidable actor. Doesn't take much time.
Not a lot of people know that you're an amazing voiceover artist as well. Be it the Avengers, Ninja Turtles, Fantastic Four, or The Hangover, you've dubbed all these films in Hindi. I have to ask, what's been your favorite voice to remove?
I have a new favorite voice now. I just dubbed for Rami Malek in No Time to Die.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that film didn't release because of the lockdown. It was supposed to
Mhm.
release in April. But for that, I kind of, because if you watch the trailer, you see Rami Malek's face all burnt.
Mhm.
He can't really open his mouth. It took me a good 45 minutes in the studio to actually come up with a way to actually do his voice. And I ended up with this technique. I grabbed my jaw, and this is how I spoke. तो उस पूरी पिक्चर की डबिंग मैंने ऐसे ही की है. There's a line in the film which goes, तुम्हारे हुनर तुम्हारे मरने के बाद खत्म हो जाएंगे, और मेरे हुनर मेरे मरने के बाद हमेशा जिंदा रहेंगे.
That sounded like Ajay Devgan.
Not very Bane kind of voice, but at the same time open, not letting you open your jaw too much. That's how he spoke throughout the film. So good character, good performance. I'm waiting to watch that as well. That's my new favorite voice.
Are you going to see you in anything soon?
Yes, Shersha and Coolie number one.
Definitely looking forward to it. Closing in, what
Mhm.
would you like to tell your fans?
I'd like to tell my fans, and I'd like to tell Sushant's fans, that don't feel orphaned. What has happened has happened. Celebrate Sushant. Celebrate his works, his films. Actors are lucky. Actors are lucky. Even after they are gone, their work still stands. You can always watch their movies. Unfortunately, there will be no new Sushant Singh Rajput films. I did not think I'd be so sad about it, but I am. But what you can do for him is keep the love going, because this is the love that he worked really, really hard for. It came at a very wrong time. It came very late. Also, at the same time, if you really appreciate an actor's performance, if you really think an actor is good, you like that actor, start loving that actor today, because you can't start following an actor on Instagram after he passes away. just because suddenly you realized, oh, ये तो अच्छा actor है, oh, ये तो अच्छा इंसान था. Don't do that. Start giving that love now. Be it actors, be it directors, be it sports persons, people who you get inspired by. Sit down and see who is inspiring you and give them the love they deserve today, not tomorrow, not after they are gone. Today.
Thank you so much, Sahil. Lovely talking to you again.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure speaking to you, Supriya.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.